Well, welcome and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Community Workforce Plan 2.0 conversation. This is a community workshop that we're having with you today to provide input and insight on the workforce solutions of the capital area strategic plan. And I just want to introduce myself, and then I'll also introduce our team, and we'll get the conversation going this afternoon. We're so grateful that you're there, that you're there, that you're there, and that you're here with us today. I'm Sharonda Robinson, and I'm really proud to be a part of this really important conversation that our community is having around how we move the needle for employers and our workforce in this ever evolving, challenging, interesting climate that we have right now. And so you all are integral to that work, and we are so excited to be kicking off our strategic planning conversation with you to get your input. So as I said, I'm Sharonda Robinson, and I will be helping to facilitate today's conversation. So we're discussing the first strategy of the Community Workforce Plan 2.0 today, and we will have a presentation on that strategy, and where we'll be asking you to think about ways to make it better. We'll be asking you to think about what's missing. We'll be asking you to think about people that also need to know and understand the work that's going on with this plan. So again, there will be an opportunity to have a conversation and to have Q&A, and we'll do as much as we can. There may be some questions that you guys ask us that we don't know the answer to, and that's okay. We will do our best to get back with you as soon as we possibly can. But we really would like your input, because you're here because you're experts in this work in your own space, and we want to hear from you. So with that, I'd like to go over the agenda for today's meeting so that you know how the flow of today's conversation is going to happen. We've scheduled 90 minutes for this presentation, this meeting, and it may take 90 minutes, it may take less, but we will definitely make sure that you are out of here on time. And so I'm doing the welcome, and we'll do introductions and a little bit of housekeeping. There'll be a presentation on the first part of this four parts of the workforce plan 2.0, and then we'll ask for your feedback. And so you can feel free as we go through today's meeting. You don't have to hold it until the end. You can put comments in the chat and questions in the Q&A function, and then we'll do some next steps and ask you to complete a survey. I will just say personally that because this is our first meeting for this series, that you all be incredibly critical with us, because we're going to have 7 more meetings after this, and we want to improve as we go forward. So if there's anything like I'm talking too long during the introduction, tell me. So we can make this a better process, and apologies to you in advance that you all are our first ones, and we get to make all the mistakes with you, right? But no, please tell us what your thoughts are about how we might improve our process for these meetings, because we really do want to make sure that they work for you. Okay, so I'm asking you to help us with that. I want to just remind you, we've been on Zoom a lot lately, that there are some ways to give us your feedback or to let us know you have a question. So at the very bottom of your Zoom screen, you can use the Q&A feature to submit your question. You'll see the little boxes there. You can also raise your hand during the presentation or put your comment in the chat. So everyone knows, is aware that those functions are available, and we will do our best to get to every question and to get to every hand raised throughout today's conversation. And of course, you can always put your comments in the chat. All right. So, and then the next item, well, I guess we'll do welcome. So there's a great team that's assembled here from the Workforce Solutions of the Capital Area And I'll just give them an opportunity to say their name and introduce themselves to you. Some are here to actually make the presentation and others will be here to support with Q&A. So we'll start with Lesley, who will be presenting today. Lesley, can you introduce yourself?
Of course, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Lesley Puckett. I'm with Workforce Solutions Capital Area, and I'm the Director of Research and Career Awareness. Glad to be here.
Thank you, Lesley. All right. And then Yael, you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Yael Lawson, and I'm the Chief Operations Officer with Workforce Solutions.
Thank you. And then Jameson.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jameson Cardenas, the External Communications Director at Workforce Solutions.
Thank you, Jameson. Jameson has been critical to making us a success for today. So we really do appreciate your work in this effort. And then I also want to introduce the folks on my team who are always do an amazing job of supporting me. So I'll ask that Carmela, you introduce yourself, and then Damien.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carmela Green, and I'm a Senior Project Assistant for Adiza Communications.
Thank you. And Damien?
Hi, my name is Damien Pantoja. I am the Outreach Coordinator for Adiza Communications.
Thank you, Damien. And so we'd ask everyone who is here with us this afternoon to, and I see that Michelle Delgado has already gotten us going. Go ahead and put, and oh, Paola has done it as well. You guys are so smart. How did you know to put your name and organization in the chat? Were you prompted or are you just super smart? If you could go ahead and do that, put your name and organization in the chat so we can also welcome you to today's conversation. We really appreciate that. All right, so we've gone over the agenda, we've gone over the welcome, we know how to use the functions in Zoom. And I think what's next is to let you know that there's an amazing website that has been created for this project, and you see it flipping through here. So there are 4 strategies that are a part of Workforce 2.0. And there's a mini website where you can go. So you don't think that you have to give us all your feedback today. You can go to this website and give us your feedback, and Jameson is going to walk us through this a little later in the presentation. And you can also scan the QR code that's on your screen and get to that website as well. But Damien is ahead of the curve. He's already put the link to the website in the chat. Thank you so much, Damien, for that. And that's the website where we're asking everyone who possibly can to go to and provide us with feedback. So just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that. Next slide, please. All right, so this is where I get to stop talking and I get to introduce Lesley, who is going to lead us through the conversation around what the community workforce plan is, and particularly this first segment of the community workforce plan. I was talking with Tamara Atkinson. I think we all know Tamara. She is the fearless leader of Workforce Solutions. Earlier today, we were in a meeting. She extends her regrets that she's not able to be here with us. She'll be joining several other conversations. But she was telling me that Lesley has been with Workforce Solutions for a number of years and is one of the strong team leaders within the organization supporting our region. She's the Director of Research and Career Awareness for Workforce Solutions for the Capital Area. So Lesley, welcome, and I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Rhonda. I appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity to speak to everybody today. As you mentioned, I am the Director of Research and Career Awareness, and I cover Strategy 1, which we're all here to discuss today, which is awareness of in-demand careers in our region that leads to enrollment. I have been with the Community Workforce Plan since the inception of it back in 2016, which seems like a long time ago. And I'm just really proud to have been with the plan from the beginning and to see how far we've come since then. So if you don't mind moving to the next slide. Great. So our goal with the community workforce plan is really to engage employers in the process of developing that talent pipeline, making, as it mentions on this slide, a more demand-driven workforce system. We really have worked intentionally to engage our local community partners, our CBO partners, and training providers, that especially those that provide fast track trainings, certificate, associate's degrees, and apprenticeship programs. We do a lot of research to find out what the in-demand careers and industries are in our region, to really help our residents become empowered to find the best jobs for them and raise themselves out of poverty, and make sure that they are successful and prosperous and can continue to live in the Central Texas, Travis County area. We have 4 strategies, so we'll focus on awareness and enrollment today, but they really are all, they are linked very closely together, from awareness and enrollment through training, placement, and advancement. And so we've kind of cover the full spectrum to help our customers in the Travis County region be prosperous and succeed. Great. And so, as it says here on the slide, my team, I have a team of 3 staff in addition to me, and our main mission is to cultivate interest in high demand middle skill careers and lead individuals to enroll in middle skill training. And what that means is anything more than a high school diploma, but less than a 4-year degree. And so that is a broad term, but it includes certifications, associate's degrees, apprenticeships, and long-term on-the-job training. We have 4 major ways that we raise awareness of our high demand industries and encourage people to enroll in training. And as I mentioned earlier, since 2016, I've been working very closely with Strategy 1, and there's no way that I'll cover all of this in a very short time frame of all the things that we have done, but I will summarize at a high level some of the activities that we have developed and launched over the past 5 years, and those that we plan on continuing and strengthening in the next iteration of the workforce plan. I'll also mention that each of these different strategies on this slide, they're appropriate for different groups of people. So we work with a wide variety of individuals in different stages of their life and different levels of readiness to take that step into a career. So whether they be high school students who are learning about post-secondary opportunities or adults looking for a career change, we try to tailor our approach with career awareness to really resonate with the individuals that we're working with. Next slide, please. Thank you. So I like to remember how important labor market is, and I like to think of it as knowledge is power. Thinking back in my high school days, I wish that I had access to labor market information at the level that I have access to it now, because I don't know where I would be at this time, but I would have had a lot more information about the wide variety of jobs that are available. It's so important for people to be able to explore careers, to have access to information, like what are the in-demand careers in our region, what salaries do these careers pay, how long does training last, if training is required, and then what are the skills and certifications that local employers are needing their workers to have, because that changes a lot. Workforce Solutions, my team, we look at all of the data points and we try to package this information into easy to understand reports, social media posts, infographics, and more to appeal to different audiences, as I mentioned, from the high school student to adults looking for a career change. We track all of the things that we do, such as hiring events that might significantly, as I mentioned in this slide, impact future workforce demand. So we really do intentionally track all of the activities that we do and try to align it very closely with what the labor market information is telling us. Next slide. Thank you. My team also works with the employers. It's, as I mentioned a few slides ago, it's so important to have that industry voice to really validate the labor market information, because labor market information is a lot of times numbers pulled from various sources like the Department of Labor or the Texas Workforce Commission, which are wonderful to have, but we just need to make sure that it aligns with what our local employers are saying. So my team and Workforce Solutions, we really try to engage employers at all levels. Specifically, my team hosts monthly work group meetings to convene employers, training providers, educators in the K through 12 system, and students to learn about different career opportunities. We have these work groups for the healthcare and skilled trade sectors, and we're hoping that we can move into the IT, the information technology sector in the future. And we also work closely with the Austin Regional Manufacturers Association and their Workforce Employer Committee. Our goal with these work groups is to raise awareness in these industries of all of the career opportunities, especially those that might be lesser known, but are still high paying and accessible through short-term training to our customers. We actually have an upcoming work session for our healthcare work group next week. It will focus on the medical lab tech career pathway. It'll be featuring a professional from St. David's and a representative from Austin Community College's lab tech training program. So that's just one example of how we're engaging our training providers and our employers.
And Lesley, I just saw a participant in the chat say that they're looking for their next career. Is there a way that we can include in the chat a link to that upcoming opportunity?
Sure.
Maybe someone from the
yeah,
chat can share that with us.
Yes, we have a flyer for that. I wonder if there's someone on the team, Jameson, do you happen to have that you could share with Mr. Webb?
Yes, I'll look for that and we'll send it.
Okay, great.
Perfect. Thank
you so much.
Absolutely.
All right, so in the next slide, talks about how we regularly update the labor market information that we pull because we realize the economy changes very quickly sometimes, and the skills and certifications that are needed, especially in some of our more tech-focused industries, are really rapidly changing. So I have a wonderful team who are very adept with labor market information, and we regularly update and refine the resources that we have posted on our website. And so, please check out our website under our reports and publications section for some up-to-date information. Our CEO, Tamara Atkinson, also publishes a weekly CEO update that has very up-to-date information, and if you're interested in getting on that list to find out what's going on in our region. Next slide, please. Thank you. So now on to general awareness. This is more of kind of focus our efforts, campaigns, community-wide campaigns to make sure that everyone in our region understands what the in-demand careers are. And so we do work closely with partners, our community partners, to promote different careers, different training programs, and different industries that are hiring. We also have on our website a labor market request form so that anybody in the public can ask us for information. So if you're interested in a specific career, you can request that information. And we work a lot with our community partners to share labor market information so that they can make informed decisions about the training programs that they will offer. It's so important, as it says on this slide, to make sure that these materials are accessible and available to the public, because as I said earlier, knowledge is power, and that labor market information can really help people make an informed career decision. Next slide, please. All right, and then in regard to career exploration, this is kind of getting into working more intentionally with smaller groups of people. So for the previous slides, talks about how to spread information to the masses through social media, our website, and publicly available reports. But when you get into career exploration, it's more of like a one-on-one or a small group where you're working with clients or potential or students or customers so that they can learn about different career opportunities. And so and oftentimes it can be work that an individual does on their own to gather information. So we try to make that easy. Last year, we developed a landing page or microsite called climbtheladderctx.com, where we have hosted a lot of our career exploration materials that our organization has created, as well as some materials that we have found that the Texas Workforce Commission or Department of Labor or other workforce boards have created that we really love and think that are really good tools. And so we've kind of aggregated them all, linked them all into one place so that it's easy to navigate, easy to find a lot of different information. Now we created that microsite last spring when COVID forced a lot of our student and customer interactions to go virtual. And so we really tried to embrace that virtual space by creating all of these different virtual resources like workbooks, videos, and other things like that, and putting it all in one place. And then we also have a virtual career fair platform that we use, and we've been able to host events along with our business services team, working closely with them and engaging employers and job seekers as well. I hope that over the next few years, we're able to continue to build out our library of virtual resources that are on our microsite, because it seems like a really great way for us to share curated information with individuals, and then they're able to do their own career exploration with those tools. All right. And then on the next slide, it talks about generating interest in career exploration programs and inventory programs. We work very closely with employers and have been hosting some Workforce Wednesday webinars. This is something that we started last fall, and we've been hosting on a monthly basis, where we've been bringing together a panel of employers highlighting different industries, so that employers that are hiring are able to talk about the skills and certifications that are needed in their open jobs. And so it's been a great way to connect individuals looking for jobs with employers that are hiring. We plan to continue that series. We have developed a really big turnout for these events, and would really welcome feedback on that series. And if you have any suggestions about future employers or industries that you'd like to be highlighted. We also engage with our employers through our summer teacher externship program. We hosted a teacher externship for the second year in a row this past summer, and we had almost 100 teachers that we were able to connect with local employers, so that the teachers could learn about the skills and the degrees that employers are valuing in the workplace. So through initiatives like that, we're able to help our industry partners share information about what they value in the workplace. We do track our business engagement through a CRM tool. We use HubSpot. We recently launched that earlier this year, so that we're able to track all of our interactions with employers and be able to identify which employers are really engaged in our system, and who we also need to build relationships with. Great. And then let's see. Oh, thank you, Jameson, for putting that in there, and the Climb the Ladder website in there. We are also looking to develop new career exploration programs and enhancing existing programs. Working with the K through 12 system has been a really great relationship that we've developed with our local school districts, especially our career and technical education programs. I see Carol Wright on the line, so excited to see you. And making sure that we're able to connect local employers with some of these career programs, so that the trainings that are offered align with what employers are expecting in the workforce. It's so important for our local training providers and schools to have industry input through advisory councils, so that the employers are able to weigh in on the curricula that's taught to students. And we love to organize large-scale events. As you all probably imagine, it's been more difficult since, due to COVID and not being able to host events. But as I mentioned earlier, we do have a virtual career fair platform that we have been using since last March, and it's allowed us the opportunity to continue to offer events without skipping a beat, and continuing to connect individuals with employment and training opportunities. Just earlier this month, we did host one of the first in-person events that we've had in over a year. We had a Manufacturing Jobs Now event, August 11th and 12th. It was a hybrid event, and we had one day that we had an in-person event, and then we had 2 days of a virtual event. And we ended up having about 350 individuals attend both aspects of that career fair. So we hope that in the future we'll be able to offer an in-person component or hybrid event, because we realize that face-to-face connection is really important for job seekers to be able to make an impact with local employers. And then finally, one of the fourth strategy is career navigation. This is the most intensive, almost one-on-one advising that's under the umbrella of career awareness. And so through this strategy, Workforce Solutions has really sought to increase the knowledge, the labor market information that our local career navigators and case managers have. Again, I'll say it, knowledge is power, and being able to convey labor market information to our local case managers and career navigators clients is so important. So Workforce Solutions offers a monthly training on labor market information and highlighting a different industry that is offered to our case managers and career navigators. We call it our Middle Skills Jobs Training webinar series. And it's been a really good way for Workforce Solutions to get to know the local case managers and career navigators that are employed by our community-based organizations. And it's a good way to help our partners figure out how to explain different careers to their clients. And in the future, we hope that, as people begin coming back in person to our career centers and our partner organizations, we hope that we can, even perhaps place career navigators in key geographic places in our service area, or identify geographically where potential clients might be, that we can encourage them to enroll in local training programs. And then finally, this is the last tactic. We just really want to make sure that we're all, as a community, working together, to ease the distribution of information. So despite the fact that we're all with different workforce development organizations, we all have the same goal, which is to equip our clients with the labor market information and the most information possible so that they can make the best career decision for themselves. And we really hope that through our middle skill job training webinars and the labor market information that we post on our website and disseminate with partners, that we're sharing that knowledge and sharing that information. And I think that is the end of my presentation. So I will turn it back to the rest of the team and look forward to hearing your questions and any suggestions that you might have to enhance the work that we're doing in Strategy 1. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lesley, for your overview. And I know we ran right through it and you did a great job on it. Yes, Michelle Delgado says, thank you, Lesley. And we really appreciate you for walking us through this. The first slide in our presentation, I'm making sure I'm reading it right here, says Community Workforce Plan 2.0. And that's exactly what this is about. This is about community and how we ensure that this next iteration really reflects and represents and responds to the needs of our community. So at this point in time, this is an opportunity for you who are participating with us today live, as well as those who might be joining later and watching and providing your comments in our microsite, for you to share with us your feedback related to the awareness and enrollment strategy that Lesley just gave us an overview of. The goal is really to cultivate interest in high demand middle skill careers, and there are 4 strategies in this strategy around how we might do that. So you just heard the overview and would love to see if there, from the folks that have joined us today, if there are any questions or comments based on what you've heard so far. I'm going to encourage you to use the Q&A function. That way we'll have a way to track all of the questions. It's found at the bottom of your screen. You can also raise your hand, and I may need a little bit of help with that from my team, or you can put your comment or question in the chat. So again, this is your opportunity to provide us with input and feedback as experts in your area around labor market information, how we do general awareness, how we move through career exploration and career navigation related to the awareness and enrollment strategy. So I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to think and to type, and then we'll jump right in. And I would ask Damien if you could repost, for those who've just joined us, the link to the project, our strategic plan website, for folks that they can use to also provide us with comments from today. And I'd like to welcome Charlisa Russell to today's call, and Jenny Achilles and Carl Webb, welcome to today's conversation. I know I'm missing some folks, so I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Megan Robinson and Trisha Kahan, not sure. Carol Wright, we said hello earlier. Brian Ashton, Pat, welcome. Cynthia Juniper, David Claus, Michelle Delgado, who was very gracious in saying thank you. Katie McClendon. I think those are all the folks that I missed earlier. So thanks for joining us in today's conversation. All right. So perfect. Cynthia Juniper has a question, and this is for Lesley. Lesley, are systems being created to track the referral source or how potential participants are learning about the training opportunities? Thank you for that question. We'll give Lesley a moment to gather her thoughts. And I also want to remind folks that if we don't have an answer today, we are capturing this information and we will get back with you through the project website, the strategic plan website, to get a response to your question. But Lesley, are systems being created to track, or someone from the team, we've got a couple other folks on the team, to track the referral source or how potential participants are learning about the training opportunities? You're on mute. I'm gonna highlight you. Okay.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Cynthia, for that question. You know, that is one of the hardest things, is to track awareness that leads to enrollment, because as I went over in my presentation, there are so many different ways to raise awareness of careers. I will say that since we have moved to offering more virtual options for career awareness through our microsite, and also through our webinar, our various webinars that we do, we have been more intentional about having polls and exit surveys that ask, how did you find out about this career awareness opportunity? How did you find out about this event? And even with our Manufacturing Jobs Now event that we hosted, we did an exit survey for the attendees, because we had some Facebook ads and other things to promote the event. So I will say that with us embracing more technology, we have become much more intentional and found better ways to track how people are finding out about these opportunities.
All right, and thank you for that answer. And if you have any follow-ups for that, Cynthia, please let us know. And I'm just placing in the chat that you can share your questions or comments in the chat or use the Q&A function. All right, I see another comment. Hello, Pat. Hi, Sharonda. Great to see you outside of the Millennium. That's where we bonded. We were doing emergency food distribution. So, Pat, it's good to see you again. Just wanted to thank you for all of this info and let you know that we'd love to share all of these resources with our musicians. Yes, Pat represents a really amazing group of musicians that keep the spirit alive in Austin. Once again, they're losing gigs and income, and this time they have no unemployment benefits to fall back upon. This partnership has been crucial in providing other income opportunities to them. So love your comment and absolutely want to make sure that you are looped into everything that we're doing with this plan. And I think kind of underneath that, Pat, if we dig a little deeper, what I'm hearing you ask for is like a continuous stream of connection, and how do we solidify that with the particular group that you represent of musicians? Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, perfect. I think we can do that. Does anyone on the team want to respond to that directly? We have it as a great comment that we're capturing. Do I see anybody's hands raising? Okay, all right. It's so hard to see. Okay, perfect. Well, we will keep going. One of the questions that we had that I'd love for the Workforce Solutions team to respond to is how much time do I have to give input on this plan? So how much time does a person have? So maybe someone who couldn't participate in today's meeting, just heard about it. How much time do they have to give input on today's plan? Who wants to respond to that one? All right, I don't see anyone coming off mute. They're leaving me hanging.
No, I'll take a stab at that.
Is that Yael?
Yes, it's Yael. Sorry,
Okay,
here.
let me find
fine.
you. I don't see you. I want to make
I'm
sure
here.
you're on the screen. There you go.
I'm
All
here.
right.
I would say before September 29th, that's when we are unveiling the plan for the community. So before the 29th, potentially the week before, so we have time to incorporate your comments and into the plan, but the end of September.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you saving me on that one.
Of course, I got you. I got you.
Absolutely. All right. So we got someone, Katie McClendon, who's using the Q&A function. She says, this is really wonderful information. I'm wondering how this program might connect with external resources to better support job seekers. For instance, how might we connect with folks post-career exploration to affordable certification at ACC or free job search support and training? So, this is a new area for me. And I'm wondering, is that kind of like upskilling, guys? Is that what she's asking for? Or maybe I'm off there. But how might we connect how this program with external resources to better support job seekers? Who wants to take that one on?
Sure, Katie, I'll take a stab at it. And then if anybody else wants to jump in, that's great as well. But once someone does identify what they're interested, which training program they're interested in, they can reach out to Workforce Solutions staff to determine if Workforce Solutions would fund their training. So on our website, we have what's called our targeted occupations list, and that is a list of occupations we have identified as in demand, well-paying, and middle skills. So they require an associate's degree, certificate, or apprenticeship, or on-the-job training. And so someone could look through that to see if what they're interested in aligns with what Workforce Solutions would support. And then they can get in contact with our case managers to start going through the eligibility process for us to fund the training. And then we would also be able to pay for support services such as transportation assistance, books, and even childcare. So I would say that that's probably the first step. And if we don't pay for the training, as I mentioned, we have a lot of community partners in the workforce development space that might be able to support that training if it's something that Workforce Solutions doesn't pay for. But Jael and Jameson, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
No.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I am going to ask another question that is in our Q&A. It says, are we engaging, and this is from Paola Silvestre, are we engaging the community to gather information about what form of outreach works for them? Great question. So I don't know if that's in Lesley, if that's in your territory, or you want to.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, I'll speak a little bit about how we engage with our community partners. As I mentioned, we work a lot with our workforce development community-based organization partners in the region, and such as Goodwill, United Way, Skill Point Alliance, American Youth Works, and many more. And we, on a monthly basis, meet with their career navigators to talk about how they're working with their clients and outreaching individuals. And so through spaces like that, we do receive a lot of really amazing feedback from our community partners. We also have a team that works with our Youth Employment Partnership, the YEP, and through that space as well, I feel like there's a lot of really great conversation about how different organizations are doing outreach.
Thank you for that. And is there any other comments on outreach from the team? Okay, thank you for that. So we've got Carl Webb, an update for you. Jameson just put in the chat a link to the healthcare work group flyer for you. And then he also put a link in the chat to upcoming events as you move your career search forward. So good luck to you on that. David Kloss says, does the Climb the Ladder site have contact information for training programs after they navigate to a specific career or field? Who wants to help with that answer? I think next time we're gonna have to do like the Jeopardy music.
I'm not familiar with Climb the Ladder.
Yeah, I think it's just.
I'm glad to talk about that.
Oh, you okay?
Like.
Good. Glad you are.
Sorry, my video froze for a moment. So sorry about that. Climb the Ladder site is more of a career exploration site so that an individual can learn about different careers, but not necessarily focused on the training provider side of things. If someone is interested in learning about specific training providers that offer training programs for a specific career, they can an individual can reach out to Workforce Solutions and speak with a career navigator to learn about the training programs that we partner with that we will fund training for.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And again, if there are any follow-ups that we're not getting to your question, or if it prompts another question or a comment, please join back in. And Derek McKnight is saying he wants to get involved with the Youth Employment Partnership. And so let's make note of that so that the Workforce Solutions team can follow up with him. All right. So we're sharing a lot of good information here today, and we really do appreciate your questions and your interest in this topic around awareness related to our market. This is a really important moment for our community and our economy because we are learning how to navigate in a new way and how all the changes that are happening in the workplace. And so this plan will be like no other plan just because of the current circumstances that we are experiencing. And we know that you all already understand that. And this work is really to help bring us together so that we can move forward in an organized way, in a way that is equitable, in a way that makes sense for our community. So we really do appreciate you being here and your questions and your interest in the topic. And I want to see if there are any other comments about the topic that we're covering today, or any additional questions that you all may have. And as you're thinking about that, I do want to let you know that this is, as I mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, this is the first of many conversations that we're going to be having over the coming weeks related to workforce, community workforce plan 2.0. And so we ask that you help us to spread the word in terms of these meetings. We're going to be covering each section. And so with that, I want to give Jameson an opportunity to walk us through the mini site that has been developed. We want you all to be aware of the mini site so that you can go on, and as you, I don't know if you're like me, but like I'm in a meeting during the day, and then I'm right before I go to bed, I'm like, oh, I should have said this. Or I have a question about this. Well, because the internet is 24 hours, you can go online and you can, before you drift off to sleep, you can give us your comment or your question online. So with that, I'm going to ask Jameson to walk us through the site. It's a really important and powerful tool that we can use to help us collect your expertise and information and questions about this plan. And I'm going to find Jameson on my screen here. There he is. Welcome, Jameson. Good to see you.
Thank you.
All
Let me
right. And then
pull-
you're going to pull up the site. Okay.
Yes.
Excellent.
Can you see this, Sharonda?
Sure can.
Okay. I wanted to tag on to David Klaus's question really quick relating to training programs and specific industries and how you can get started on those. So this is our targeted occupations and industries page. And this can be found under resources on our website. And this lists out all the training programs, the occupations that we provide training for in the different industries. And we have a contact form on the bottom so people can just reach out. We're a one-stop and we'll get people connected and help how we can with you. So I just wanted to flag that and show you all this page before I dove in. And I can share that link in the chat as well. But here, once y'all scan this code that we're about to flash for y'all again, and that's already in the chat, this is our microsite for the Community Workforce Plan input. And so when you land here, you can get some background information. You can register for upcoming sessions.
So Jameson, I'm not seeing the page change. I'm still seeing targeted occupations and industries.
Oh goodness, hold on. Let me see.
I might have a delay, but I'm not sure. But there we go. There it is.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
But this is the page. This is what you'll see whenever you click the link that's in the chat or you rescan the QR code here in a little bit. There's different sections of this page, so you can get some background information. When you click on these buttons, it's all on the page. See more engagement sessions whenever we have the registration open for those for other strategies. An FAQ, more ways to partner. But what I'd like us to focus on here really quickly is the give your input. So if you click on that button at the top, or if you just scroll down, it'll take you to the section that we have where we break out all of the strategies, all 4 of them, and you can click on the overview. You can just kind of get a quick overview of what the strategy is all about. And then you can also dive into each of the tactics. So I'll bring us back up to the strategy that we're on today. And so if you wanted to learn more or revisit the labor market information tactic, for example, you just click on that tile there. And then all the information that we shared with you today is on the page exactly the same. So all of the tactics that we went over. And at the bottom here is where you can submit a comment. And so we have the comment box, your name and your email. And we also ask you to list the organization that you represent, just so we can get an idea of that as well. And once you submit your comment, it goes to us. We'll be able to see it and follow up as necessary. So that's the gist of it. And you can do this for every tactic, for every strategy. Again, preferably by about a week before the 29th, when we have our annual event, is when we're hoping to collect all feedback. But that's an overview for y'all. So I invite y'all to browse the site, read it, and provide comments at your leisure.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Jameson. We appreciate that overview, and just want to check in and see if any folks have questions about the site or how to navigate it. I think you did an amazing job. There are no questions, Jameson. Thank you for that. We appreciate you all. So it seems like we're going to be heading into a close for today's meeting. I just want to make sure you know that there will be actually 7 other meetings that we're having. We're doing 2 meetings per, oh, thanks, Carmela. You're going to put up the QR code to scan the site, the microsite. We're having 7 other meetings. So the idea is to do 2 meetings per topic, per strategy in the workforce plan. And so we'll be sending out that schedule to you all so that you can share that with folks in your network. And then also, as Yael mentioned, on September 29th, we're doing our summit. It will be all virtual this year because yeah, it'll be all virtual this year, but we invite you and welcome you to participate in that conversation. Will be kind of the culmination of the input that we've received and an overview of the plan 2.0, right? So we're busily planning for that event so that we can make sure that we are educating and engaging with our community on this topic. So, oh, Jameson just put in the targeted occupations list reference page. And Carmela, I know that you have a list of the upcoming meetings. So why don't you tell us when those are? And Damien, and the dates and times for those. And Damien, if you could put those in the chat for everyone, that would be great. Go ahead and take down the screen. And Carmela, if I can find you on here. There you are.
Oh.
All right. When are our upcoming meetings?
So the upcoming meetings, how we're structuring it is having the strategies, the first meetings of the strategies before the annual event on September 29th. And then the follow-up meetings will be after that. So strategy number 2 will be training. And the first meeting is Thursday, September 9th at 6 p.m. And we've tried to do, we tried to vary on the dates just to make sure, or on the times and the days to make sure that we've got some that are available and accessible. And then strategy number 3, placement. The first meeting is Wednesday, September 15th at 6 p.m. Strategy number 4, upskilling. The first meeting is Thursday, September 26th at 12 p.m. And then we'll circle back to strategy number 1, awareness and enrollment. And that second meeting will be Saturday, October 2nd at 12 p.m. And for strategy number 2, for training, the second meeting is Tuesday, October 5th at 6 p.m. Strategy number 3 is placement, and the second meeting is Monday, October 11th at 12 p.m. And strategy number 4, upskilling, the second meeting is Saturday, October 16th at 10 a.m. And Jameson, I know you corrected me on that, on upskilling, that first meeting, Thursday, September 26th. Is that a Saturday or?
It'll be Thursday, the 23rd.
Okay, so it's for upskilling strategy number 4, the first meeting is Thursday, September 23rd at 12 p.m.
All right. So we'll get those in the chat for you so that you can have that. And we'll also be sending out information on them so you can let folks know. Carmela, thank you for going over that with everyone. We just wanted to make sure that you knew that this is not your only opportunity to participate in the strategic planning input, and that the way we've organized it is so that we don't have 8-hour meetings. We've broken it up so that we can focus on each one of those key areas in the plan and be able to drill down and get more input. So I'm going to do a last call for questions or comments before I ask you for your help in improving our process and making sure we do a good job in the work that we're doing. So I'm going to check my Q&A and see if there are any additional questions in the Q&A. Don't see any here. I'm going to check to see if I've got any hands raised. Don't see that. Looks like we're coming in for a landing, and no additional comments or questions in the chat. So I'm going to post here. If you guys can respond, we'd love to know, one, you can just do one, what we did well, what were the good things about today's conversation and leading up to it potentially. Two, we got a last second question. Hold on. Two, what are the improvements that we can make for this process or for the conversation? And then any comments that you want to share. And you can share that publicly in the chat, or you can share that privately with me or anyone that's on the team. And so Katie McClendon, yes, says, will you be sending out the event list or posting registration? Yes, we absolutely will. We just posted it in the chat, but we'll make sure that you're on our invitation list, Katie, and we will make sure that you get the information out. All right. So if you can go ahead and respond to our little post-meeting survey. What do we do well? What's the good things that happened in today's conversation? What are the improvements that need to be made, and any comments that you may have? And with that, I want to head back to Lesley and Jameson and Yael and see if there are any closing comments or closing remarks.
I just want to thank everybody for coming today and for your feedback. We really welcome any feedback and any ideas that you have. I know that a lot of you are experts in this area, in the workforce development area, and might have some really wonderful ideas that we haven't thought of and would love to collaborate. So please reach out if you have any suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you, Lesley. Thank you for helping to do the heavy lifting for today's conversation. We appreciate you. All right, well, we will stay on for a few moments because we really would like to get your feedback, any improvements or comments that you may have for us. And if you've done that for us, then we will return you back to your regularly scheduled day with 29 minutes to spare in terms of today's meeting. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Bye now.